For this project, we're going to be using Excel, which is the number one software we could use to organize data. So it's essential to use. It makes so many jobs so much easier in tons of industries if you know how to do it. There's people that spend hours, work 80-hour weeks trying to do stuff with data. The same person or a different person doing the same job can work 30-hour weeks because they know how to use Excel and the special features in it. So great tool to use, and we're going to start with simply taking a look at a bag of Skittles. So let's start in cell A1 with saying Skittles Research. We're also going to go through a lot of features here, not just adding and subtracting and putting in data. We want to be able to format data so it's usable by people. So we'll start here and highlight cells A1 to D1. That's called a range. That should be a review for everyone. Then I'm going to go ahead and select the Merge Center tool. And so you'll see it makes all the cells into one and labels it Skittles. Then we're going to go ahead and title these columns. So color of Skittle, amount that we get, um, the percent total, and then you'll say my rank. So what's your favorite essentially? So let's list the colors. And again, we're going to add formulas. So you're going to be wanting to add things in the same spot as me if you want um, to run the same formulas. So I did color in A3, amount B3, C3%, D3, my rank. So colors, we'll go with yellow, red, orange, green, a standard bag of Skittles here, purple. And we'll go ahead and A9, just add total. And then go over here, and then we're going to go ahead, and everybody should have a bag of Skittles. We're going to open them up, and then we'll list what we got. So take a minute and do that. So after adding in my data, I had 13 yellow, 11 red, 6 orange, 12 green, and 9 purple. So that's how many Skittles I got in my bag here. So then we'll start with the simple formula totaling, and we can use a Riemannian sum. When I say that, students don't know what I mean, but I'm talking about the auto sum button. That's the symbol there. So using auto sum is pretty easy. I can just click it, and it's recognizing a row of data, so it's automatically putting in the formula for me. So I can just go ahead and hit enter because it's adding B4 to B8. That is a range. Zoom in a little bit there and take a look again. So the sum B4 to B8, you'll notice that Excel color codes things. So B4 to B8 is in blue, and you'll see this blue border around it. So it's pretty simple to know where your formula is trying to calculate things, and sum means add. So we're just adding that up. So then we can say, well, what percent of my Skittles are yellow? So we're just going to take, we start all formulas with a plus or equal sign. I always learned plus. Most instructions will say equals. Either one works in a spreadsheet. So then we just need to take B4 and divide it by the total, which is B9. However, we're going to use a fill down feature which copies this. When we copy, it's going to recalculate, and it's not going to continue to add to B9 or divide by B9. So we need to set that to be static. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a dollar sign in front of each of these. That way, when I copy the formula, it's always going to divide by B9 when I copy it. So we can hit enter, and then it gives us a percent. Well, right here is the fill handle, this little dot on the bottom right. And I'm going to drag that down. And we could even bring the percent down into the total column, but it's going to come out at 100%. So we need to go ahead and format some of this data. It's a little rough. So I'm going to switch it to percent. And I'm going to go to 1 decimal. And that's going to show us a pretty even amount there. Some other formatting we can do is we're going to highlight these rows. And we're going to, so I'm highlighting B3 to D9, and we're working now with formatting, some basic formatting. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to center all these. I think it's just going to look a lot better. And then add my personal rank of what's my favorite. So my favorite's purple, my red number 2, orange 3, and yellow is my least favorite. So again, when we get into organizing our data, a good thing to do is to have it easily readable so we can understand. Now we have a small data set here, so people are going to understand when they glance at this what they're looking at, but we still want to get in a good habit. So when I start getting rows of data, I like to modify my row height. So I'm going over to Format, Row Height, and again, this should be a review, and I like to go a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go to 25, and then it kind of breaks that up a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and do a vertical center. So all my data is in the center of the cells here. And then I'm going to go ahead and tinker a little bit with my borders. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to add borders to everything. So I'm going to select all borders. But then I want some thick borders around this. So I'm going to select thick outside borders around these to just give it a little more dense look to organize my information. Once I scroll out, you can see the look of the borders a little better, what I applied. The next thing we can do is go ahead and graph this. So let's go with the pie chart. So I'm going to highlight the colors of the Skittles. I'm going to hold down the Control key on the keyboard after I select them and hold Control, and then I'm going to highlight the percent. Now, if you have any errors with this, it's always in highlighting. Anytime I help a student, they just haven't highlighted right when their graph doesn't come out. So, and I'm going to go to Insert because I want to insert something, and I'm going to go to Charts. Now, I really don't like this new version with such tiny symbols here. It's kind of tough to find, but we're going to go with the 3D pie chart. And it comes out real nice for us, and then our chart tools come up, which we'll get into in another assignment. But now we can go, and it's already set up for us. And then we can go into chart title and just select color of Skittles. And then we can click here and go to data labels, and it will show us what percent. Now, one thing we like to do, especially when we have colored items, is we want to match the color with what color they actually are. It doesn't make sense for our yellow Skittle to be displayed in blue. So when we click into pie chart, we can actually double click it, and then we can come to our paint bucket and switch our fill to the correct color. And so then I can come over here, set my red as red, get my orange as orange, um, green as green, and get all my colors set correctly. Oops, I lost my chart title there, so I'll just put it in again. So we have a simple chart here, and you'll see why in a minute, but I'm placing it approximately right there. I'm going to zoom out to better organize later. You could also come in here, do some more things. I think I'm going to go ahead and adjust this title. If we go to File and Print, it gives us kind of what this is going to look like. So we go back, and what the nice thing about that is it gives us this dotted line, which shows us the border, and we know where our page border is. So again, you can hold down Shift to resize that. And I'm going to go ahead and shrink my chart a little bit because that way it's going to fit on the single page here. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab a Skittles graphic off the internet. Although I'm kind of cheating in a way. I already have it set up. So I grab a Skittles graphic off the internet. And again, I'm trying to fill the page. I'm doing some research. I'm having a report on Skittles. I want to do a quality job, so I'm using my white space. And as I look at this, my Skittles research, really that's this whole section. So I'm going to remerge and center that title. So it's over the top of that. And I'm going to change the formatting of that text. I'm going to go ahead and do bold, maybe get it a lot bigger. And I might even toss a border on that. Maybe add some color to it. That gives us just a little better look for our research. So the next thing we can do is we can actually do a merge a bunch of cells here, because anytime we're doing a lab write-up or any kind of data collection, we want to summarize it so people know what they're looking at. So I'm going to highlight A11 to D19, and I am just going to merge and center those. And then actually, I'm going to align left here. And then let's see. And I'm going to go ahead and use a title for assignment I've used before. And then just copy and paste this in. You guys following along can enter it, type it in here. Now, a good thing happened here because you can see that this didn't wrap around. So I can go to my formatting tools and I can do wrap text. And so I just clicked on my format launcher right here. It launches us out, select wrap text. And then I also can put a border around this. So this is somewhere for me to, after I print, to write a commentary in there. So sometimes teachers will like to have you do some of your own writing and analysis of data you put in there. And then we can go down here and do our second one. We'll do 21 to 30. Do the same thing, merge and center. Do our align left. Again, wrap text. And let's see, we'll come back here and we'll just grab it from here. We have two questions to answer after we print this off. Theorize why you got the amount of Skittles you did. In other words, how many came in the bag. And then the second one, why you rank them the way you did. Oops. We'll come in here and throw a border because this is a box to write in. And so we can have a border on there for answering. And in working on this project, we found a great debate on Skittles. So we'll go ahead and add a hyperlink in here, which is great practice for us. So there's a huge debate on the internet if Skittles are flavored or if they just have an odor, or if they all taste the same. So a great thing to do with any time you're adding research and data is any supporting evidence. So you can come here and we're just going to go ahead and right click on it and going ahead, insert a hyperlink and browse pages. And then I'm actually going to just tab out to the screen here. I'm going to copy the page, then come back to Excel. And then I'm going to paste the address in here. And then this is what it's going to say. And then I can hit OK. And now when people are viewing this, if you view it on the computer, you can just click the link and it'll bring up that site to go ahead and debate what's going on with Skittles. So lots of options here. Again, lots of practice. We did a lot of formatting, merging and centering, formatting of text, using borders, a few basic formula techniques, some dividing, some setting static division, filling down, and evaluating data collection. Now, what you can do as a group is eventually, as a group, we could all list our rank and then find an average, and then average our class average of the favorite Skittles, a class average of how many Skittles we got. And another viral Skittles talk is that there's always more yellow. So we could do that as a class to continue with our research and go into a second phase of this, because this is our individual Skittles project. We could go to a group Skittles project. So maybe that's where we'll take it in the next phase, after we complete the Skittles review, is move it into a group-centered research-based project.